It's my favorite time of year. Seed catalog season! Woo! Hi, my name's Amanda. I'm from Humble Burdock Farms, and today we are going to share our top tips for ordering seeds from catalogs. Did you know not all seed catalogs are created equal? Where do we begin? The first important lesson is that pictures can be deceiving. Flowers are not as big as they appear. It was probably the hardest lesson I ever had to learn when I ordered all these beautiful flower seeds one year, and then, all the flower blooms were about the size of a nickel. So you really want to learn from my experiences and double check to make sure that the pictures are not bigger than the flower bloom. So usually they have a measurement in the descriptions. So why catalogs? There's something lovely about holding an actual book of all the seeds you can grow, especially when they have color photographs. It is simply magical. Yes, we can do a lot of shopping online, but it's not the same as sitting there with your cup of tea, watching a winter squall blow by, and you're just daydreaming about tomatoes. Which I still daydream about, even though I'm mainly into flowers. So what's the biggest thing for growing cut flowers and looking for that in seeds? You want to check for height. Anything under 12 inches is no. Preferably it's 14 inches or higher. 12 inches is sort of like the wiggle room. If you're growing them for yourself, that's okay. But you're trying to grow them and sell them, it's on the short side. Other things are the size of the bloom. So it's like looking at that photo. It's like their large flowers are focal flowers like sunflowers and dahlias and zinnias, and then there's secondary flowers and fillers. So those are all the small, little, easy to grow flowers like cornflowers, straw flowers. What else is there? Oh, there's so many flowers. All the flowers. And then there's line flowers, so gladiolas and larkspur. So just knowing what flowers you're growing that come kind of from what categories will help you when you're planning bouquets out for market or for sale. Another thing I think about, is it a rebloomer like a zinnia is? You cut it and then it still produces flowers, or is it cut once and it's done? Kind of like a nigella. So there's always a bit of both of them usually, but just thinking about that as you're ordering will help you with your planning for your garden. The next thing you want to think about is that, can I dry it, or is it going to become a seed pod that's interesting to work with? So just having multitasking plants help you increase what you have with not increasing the space that you're growing in. Nigella is a great example because they have these really cute lacy flowers, and then they turn into these really interesting seed pods that you can cut fresh or you can dry. So perfect example of something that you can do a lot of things with. And it's only one plant. Easy peasy. Easiness of sowing. So let's get real. Some of the plants you really want to start from seed are total princesses. I know, princesses. So I don't grow them from seed. I usually buy the plugs. So just because you can grow it from a seed does not mean you need to. My beast of burden is the Lisianthus. I've had some success growing them from seeds, but not enough to make me ever do it again. And it's because I generally lack the patience that people require in the off season. They're very princessy to start. And yeah, so I buy plugs. So sometimes it's better to know your strengths and your weaknesses, or if you're going on vacation in Mexico and your transplants are not going to get watered while you're gone, it's really important to think about those sorts of things and be like, you know what? I can buy plugs too. Because you know that no matter how many seeds you start, you are still going to end up at the garden center later. Just saying. So it's important to check out local seed growers first, and that's because they are growing in the same conditions as you have. So they are used to like wet springs, or, cool summers, then they are also growing in the same conditions so that you can have better product. When we talk about budgeting, it's really interesting that most seed companies kind of have the same prices ish, or different varieties cost more. So if you're on a budget, just make sure you're double checking your different seed options. And then, if there's something you really want and you can't get anywhere else, you splurge. And I guess part of the big topic for growing cut flowers is that generally we're not using the open pollinated heirloom flowers. There can be some, but there's not a lot. And that's because we require flowers that are bred to last long in the vase, to have uniform blooms, to have uniform cut times, and a good example is some sunflowers. We usually get pollenless ones because they're not dropping pollen on your dinner table when you're looking at them. But as a home gardener, you get to make the choice for you as to what you want to choose to buy and what you want in your house, and just being aware of those things. And it's really the same with vegetables. That's why I really love Johnny's seed catalog, because they're working really hard on making new interesting varieties that taste different, that taste great, have uniform production, bolt resistant items, and all the things you'd expect from people who make their livelihood out of seeds and want the best for their farmers and their growers. But they're not the only ones that do that, for the record. So some of the seed catalogs I really love. We'll start in the West Coast. So West Coast seeds, obviously from BC. Lindenberg seeds from the prairies. From Ontario, we've got Stokes and William Dam seeds, which I really love. In the East Coast, we've got Halifax seed and we have Vesey seeds. And there's all sorts of small seed companies across Canada and the globe. So locally, we've got Hope Seeds and Annapolis Seeds. Just to name a few. So for people who want to buy seeds but you don't necessarily want to pay for shipping for everything, it's important to check out your local garden centers. But I like to start with seed catalogs first, just so I have a budget and an idea in mind of what I'm looking for. Because if I can't find it at the garden center, I can order it from the catalog later. Some catalogs you can order them and then pick them up at the seeds up at one of the stores that they sell them at, in case they don't have all the varieties you're looking for. And walking into a garden center is like stepping into a seed catalog, and you want it all without any thought to your budget or any thought to your garden space. So just being able to kind of have that thought pattern first before you go in there will help you from going seed crazy. And I know I've done it before, and I'll probably do it again. Some of the other seed catalog people I forgot to mention are from the States. So I really love Johnny Seeds, and I definitely love Seed Savers Exchange in the States because they are really big on sharing the stories. And that's what's beautiful about having so many different seed catalogs to think about and work from, because you'll find the people that resonate with you in the seed stories. And then some companies have a lot more growing information just to help you get started. So these are free resources for you. All you have to do is ask for them. And I just realized I forgot Richter's Herbs in Ontario, who I also love because they're really specific on herbs that are seeds from all over the world, and it's totally fascinating if you're more into herbs. So if you're interested in learning more about growing seeds for cut flowers, check out our book, From Seed to Centerpiece, A Floral Journey Through the Seasons. We'll have a link below that you can find it, and it is a beautiful book to look at in this dreary February right now. Another important thing that you need to think about is germination. So you don't want to buy too many seeds. You want to buy just enough for this year and maybe next year. It might be cheaper to buy the really big bag, but if you're not going to use them all in the first year or two, then it's a waste of your time, space, and money. So just be aware of that. Because I know it gets really exciting to start seeds. I like to keep all my seeds in Ziploc bags afterwards, and generally I label them by like sunflowers are all together and zinnias are all together and all the tomatoes, just to help me keep things organized. So you're probably wondering, like, where do I keep my seeds? So you want to keep them in a dry, cool place. And I like my little baggie, so it keeps the bugs out or the rodents. Whoever happens upon your seeds, or your little children. Had that happen before too. Another really great event is Seedy Saturday. So that is generally held in farmers markets all across Canada. I think they're usually like April, May, depending on your area. And it's just a time to get together and discover all the things that can be grown here in the East Coast and beyond. So we want to hear in the comments below what you plan on growing this year. I'm so excited to hear it because I really need something to get me through this February. And while you're at it, make sure you hit subscribe or follow. We are on Facebook, we are on Instagram, we are also on YouTube, so check us out there. My name's Amanda, and thanks so much for watching.